Hi, this is Anita from Real Estate Crunch. This month I'm going to talk a lot about renovations, in particular home renovations. Or I'm going to answer the question, can I move into my home immediately after renovation? Now this is kind of an interesting question because if you, like say you move out of a place or you bought a place, you're doing the renovations, can you move back into the home? Well, first of all, the renovation should be completed. That should be one of the factors you should determine. You shouldn't try to move in without the paint being done or the paint being wet or something being wet where something could be damaged. That everything should be dry and be undamaged. But the most important factor and crucial factor is the building inspection. And whether or not the home has to be re-inspected for you to be able to move back in has a lot to do with the scope and scale of the renovations. So this is something that you will need to check to make sure that you can legally move back in after you've done some renovations with the building inspectors, particularly if you're living in the United States. Now, if you're living in another country, this may not be an issue. It may not matter. It may not be any type of problem at all. But if you are living in the United States, and it can really make a difference, and particularly which part of the United States you live, where you're living in the United States, and what the rules and regulations are there for the area that you live. As I have said many, many times, and as we've spoken about here on this podcast, one of the difficult things about real estate is so much of real estate, the laws, the rules, and regulations are localized. In fact, what may be okay in one city may not be okay in a city across the road. So, it really can make a difference as to which city, which county, which state, especially if you are in the United States that you are in, and also what country, on exactly what can be done and what cannot be done with things such as renovation or when you can exactly move back in after something's been renovated. For example, I know for a place like in Vietnam, this would not even be a question. There would not be any type of real inspection that went on here. Other parts of the world would be exactly the same. But in the United States, if you have done major renovation, then you have to have an inspector come in, and the building codes, they have to make sure that the building is up to code and, that you'll have the required permits. If the building does not pass the inspection, you cannot move in until the issues flagged are addressed. That becomes the main issue there. That if they are not addressed, you cannot simply just move back in. Now, it's much easier to renovate an empty house than it is a house which is full of furniture people are living in. There's some reasons why. Some of the obvious reasons are you don't need to move things around. There's less risk of damage. It's faster work. It can save you cost. It can save you time. There's going to be less disruption. It can be easier for the contractors. If you have contractors that need to go in and out, it's easier for them. It's better planning. It can be safer for everybody because, the house is empty. It can allow you to thoroughly clean it, and it will simply be less stress. So, all of these things can make a difference. We've written a blog post about this. So if you are sort of in this where you're doing renovation, you have a home that you are renovating, you're moved out, you want to move back in, you'd like to read it, or if you're just interested about this, we'd love to have you read our blog post. We'll put a link in the description below because we also give some ideas of some checklists and things that you need to do when you're looking to renovate and things that you should look out for when you are looking to renovate a home. So, talk about some of the key considerations and things you need to consider so that hopefully then you can be better prepared and it will not be a problem and you can move immediately right back in. This is Anita from Real Estate Crunch. We hope you've enjoyed this, where we spend a few minutes each week and talk about just some things to do with real estate. We'd like to thank you for being part of our community. If you have any questions at all, we'd love to hear from you. And we'd like to thank our team who makes this possible, especially Rico for making this happen. Thank you all so much.